I presume these guys are super in for like 4 million. But I mean, I don't know. But I assume this is like 4 million right here. Okay. So they're like, bro, how hard do you need to hit to do damage to them? Remember, there's a Universe 11 effing mission in here, by the way.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Let me just say, I did not know how good Beast Gohan was. Whenever a unit comes out on JP, I get the feeling if the unit is trash or not, if it's great or not. But I usually don't look too much into it because I try to like leave a little bit of want there, you know, try to leave a little bit of magic for the wedding night. You know, I'm not trying to get all the details before a unit comes out. Beast Gohan look cool, Beast Gohan look good. Beast Gohan is peak, bro. Beast Gohan is a monster. I thought, in my opinion, between Gogeta and Broly, I thought Broly was life-changing because I was running units on his team that usually you don't run. Like, outside of a Buu team, you can't really run the Gotenks Buuhan. You can't really run the Buu Fusion, but on that Broly team, the Buus actually do pretty damn good. Same thing with Phi Goku Black, and it kind of revitalizes that whole villain team saga. And I was happy. I was like, yo, Broly is peak. Like, Gogeta is good, but, you know, how many superhero leaders do you really need? Now, the thing is, when it comes to Dokkan, they have a habit of making OP units like Beast Gohan. They have a habit of making OP units like Broly and Gogeta. And then their retort for this is that, okay, these units can take a lot of damage, they can dish a lot of damage, so now we need to make the events extremely hard so that in 3 to 4 months, Beast Gohan is mid. In 3 to 4 months, the units that are now coming out are absolutely mind-boggling, and it leaves a lot of players in the dark, and it leaves a lot of players behind, and I think it also ruins the game. In my opinion, I said it before with the Red Zone Zamasu, it's absolutely brain dead to make events that do 1 billion damage, they negate damage by X%, and they basically force you to play the game with newer units, whereas in the past, when Dokkan first started, you could literally pretty much do any event. It will take you a long time, because back then you would have to use General Blue and Turles to get stuns out, and in my opinion, that's not even that OP, because back then it used to be able to do the app reset glitch, which helped a lot more, whereas now, like, these units that stun are very few and far between, and the events where you can actually stun, they made it to the point that stunning is only viable in Super Battle Road. I think that's extremely stupid. Like this Beerus, for example. Oh my god, you can't dodge Beerus. Oh my god, you can't seal Beerus. Oh my god, you can't play the game and use units that have this ability on Beerus. How does that make it funner? Now you can't use certain units and they become irrelevant, and you end up getting to a situation where, okay, the only thing that matters is attack output, damage reduction, defense. That's it. Nothing else matters. If a unit does multiple additionals and can stun, irrelevant. If a unit does multiple additionals and can seal, irrelevant. I remember back in the day, if you did enough attack downs and had a sealer unit, you could basically modify the team and take on any event because you can lower the attack to a percentage, and from there you can basically go around and seal, and from there you're pretty much in the clear as long as you have your rotation set up the right way. Now obviously this is pretty easily addressed from the mod team or the developer team, where all they really need to do is just create a stage with multiple units that attack you, such as Cell and the Cell Juniors. Then all of a sudden you now need to pick and choose what you damage mitigate and pick and choose what you need to seal. But I think that they far too often has gone this route of just Red Zone Zamasu, where it's like, oh my god, the unit actually attacks everyone. Oh my god, the unit actually cannot get sealed. Oh my god, the unit does 1 billion damage, and when you do damage to them, it ends up being double digit. Like, that's not good game design. And I think the biggest thing Dokkan needs to focus on is going back to the roots of making units that not only bring a new ability to the game, but also similarly are able to revitalize older units. Because I think what's amazing about this Broly and what's amazing about this Beast Gohan is that you can now have older units that have a place on the team. They actually have a spot on the team. And I think you saw that earlier in the year. I think one of the best EZAs was that Buuhan EZA. Like, I like the Super Saiyan Vegito EZA. He's an absolute monster. But let's be honest, the Buu Saga team was pretty much unusable until the past year. Until that It-Buu came out, until Buuhan got an EZA, like, they were pure trash. Even for the Broly team, I've been using the STR Fat Buu EZA. He's actually pretty decent. Like, that EZA breathe new life into it. And that's the whole point of an Easy 8, is to not only breathe a whole life into a unit, but it actually makes these teams viable. It actually makes them usable. Like, after the 6th anniversary LRs get an awakening, they might actually be usable. Right now, they're irrelevant. I mean, like, even for this event where Beerus attacks and you cannot dodge it, in no universe would you bring UI Goku. He's literally unplayable. There's no reason to use him. And I think Dokkan needs to go back to the roots of creating teams that are, or creating units that bring back old teams. And that's the thing that will really make the game shine. Because for me, what's the most remarkable thing about this team I'm using here is that I have Future Gohan on the team. You can actually have him on the team. He actually has a place. And I think it's very cool to see units like this Beast Gohan that obviously you can pick and choose when he's taking the brunt of the force, where bro eats a super like it's a baby snack, and that allows you to bring asser units and actually have a place on the team. And I think that one thing that they should also think of bringing back, they brought it back very shortly, it was very short-lived, is having saga-based teams for certain events. Like, I don't know why they strayed away from this. I know they have like reward bonuses, I know they have different things that you can use that basically will allow you to get a little bit of a bonus, but in the past, for example, they had, at the time of the EZA of that SCR Ugly Boo, he's someone who does extra damage and extra attacks when he's going up against Majin Buu Saga category enemies. And he actually had a little bit more use case and a little bit more utility when you used him in those events. And for a while there, it actually seemed pretty good. And I think that if Dokkan started making these event-based around these Saga categories, and that you have a chance, because remember, go back in time to the OG Broly event, you could actually do that event with older units that were either free to play or you just so happen to have them, but it's going to take you a lot longer, and the mechanic is still there. Like, you didn't have to pull the brand new Goten, Goku, and Gohan. You could use the disgusting Super Saiyan Vegeta and the Mighty Mask, as well as the other free units that were in that event. So I think it didn't alienate players and let players not be able to use them. Because for me personally, like, the first time I noticed the game got too hard to the point where I didn't want to sit there sweating all day and figuring out the optimal rotation to do, because this is a mobile game, I'm sorry. I'm not sitting here playing this game religiously at home. Majority of the time, it's on the go. So when that first, like, God of War events came out, where it was like that first really click up in difficulty, where you had the Beerus, the Clown, all the different gods of destruction, and it's like, oh my god, they do a lot of damage turn one, you can't build up. I was like, okay, this isn't fun. Like, why don't, like, I'm gonna just wait until I can do this later. But I think that Dokkan needs to do a little bit better with their rollouts of new characters. I think that they should think about older categories that might not be super popular, but I think if there was some love given to them, they would be popular. Like, for example, Otherworld Warriors, that is a dead category. Namekians, oh my god, Namekians is a dead category. I was actually praying to God that Orange Piccolo on release would be a Namekians lead, because I think you can make a decent Namekians team. It's hard because you need specific units, but Namekians is possible. Like, give a little bit of love to those dead categories, those dead cards, so that when a new unit comes out, you can go back and refresh and actually see how good these older units are, whether it be through an EZA or through an actual viable leader. And I think that's something that Dokkan needs to work on, because I think the whole mechanic of making better units and then making harder bosses isn't fun. People see that with the new event that's coming out with Goku and Frieza. This is on the JP side. And I think that they need to do a little bit better in that regard, because at the end of the day, this is a mobile game. Like, I'm not trying to say the game should be easy as Dokkan Events, where you just auto everything and you don't look at it. But at the same time, for me, still, to this day, I think my favorite game mode would probably be the Ultimate Clash. The game mode I'm looking for is Ultimate Clash. I feel like Ultimate Clash actually has a decent level of difficulty. It's actually fun. It actually forces you to use certain teams. I think that having a person or an enemy that does such ridiculous damage that you need to seal them, you need to attack down them, you need to stun them in some regards to stop them from healing, I think that's actually pretty fun. I think that's actually pretty cool. And obviously you can go play Ultimate Clash whenever you want to play Ultimate Clash, but I feel like the red zones lack that. There is no nuance. It's just new unit, new enemy, more damage, more damage. It's literally just copy paste, extremely simple. And I think eventually players are going to realize that it's becoming more boring, because it's just turning into Legends where you need a new unit in order to do the new event, whereas in the past it wasn't really like that.